Good evening, everyone. I welcome you all on behalf of Sanatan Dharm Public School, Pitampura, and on the platform of ASGS Dream Big Talks. This platform brings eminent people from different fields who have created niche in their world due to their exemplary work, and we invite them to have conversation with young, impressionable minds. So, webinar for today is organized for all of you because all of you are in that age group where you have lots of dreams, you have lots of career options open in front of you, but all of you must be planning, must be in dilemma which career option to follow and which line to follow, what suits our personality, where can we go. So with this objective in mind and with the feedback from the children after the conversation, we decided theme for today as challenges of contemporary education and positive mindset to face competitive examination. So we are going to have a very, very special guest with us today, Mr. Kartikeya Sharma. He is an IPS and is SP in Bihar, Superintendent of Police, and he is an alumnus of IIT Kharagpur, and then he joined IIM Ahmedabad, and he completed his postgraduate diploma in management from IIM Ahmedabad, and then he appeared for the civil services examination, and he became IPS officer. He's a very young man, very young, dynamic person, and I have invited specially him to talk to you all and to tell you how to decide the roadmap of your career and then how to follow that roadmap. So you must have heard about Dr. Kalam's very famous quote where he says that dreams are those which do not let you sleep. All of us see dreams, we have lots of desires, but dreams can be fulfilled only when we make efforts in that direction. So if you start working with positive mindset, with determination, with passion, with commitment, and with consistency in any direction, then you will be able to achieve your goal positively. I would like to share with you a very small incident of Martina Navratilova's life. All of you know that she's a very, very famous lawn tennis player, and she won Grand Slam awards many times. She was once asked, how do you maintain your focus, physique, and sharp game even at the age of 43? And she gave a very, very humble reply. And the reply was, the ball doesn't know how old I am. We need to stop ourselves from stopping ourselves. So she wanted to give you the message that every game in life is actually played on a 6-inch ground. And this 6-inch ground is the space between our 2 ears. That means we don't live in bungalows. We don't live in duplex or flats. We live in our minds. And mind has unlimited area. Mind has unlimited potential. It is up to us how we nurture ourselves, how we perceive ourselves, how we work to explore ourselves, and how we are able to achieve that infinite, immense potential which is lying inside us. So all of us have that capability to achieve that infinite potential and to achieve the goal which we have decided for us. But the only thing is that we need to think that our goals in life are short-term or long-term. If you decide a long-term goal in your life and you think about life with a larger picture in your mind, you will be able to achieve yourself. Your goal. I'm still waiting for Mr. Kartikeya to join. So let me just share with you another simple incident. You know, Whenever we talk about achieving goals in life, whenever we talk about cracking examinations, whenever we talk about, just a minute, give me a second because Mr. Karthikeya is calling. So Mr. Karthikeya is joining us. So I was sharing with you that in life we shall always keep all the books open, you know, whether it is the book of success or the book of failures. Once there was somebody was taking the interview of the CEO of the Oracle company, and he asked one question. He said, "How do you select the CEOs of such big companies? Because whenever anybody applies for the position of the CEO of such big companies, if somebody say applying for Google or the Microsoft kind of companies, then obviously the man must be full of credentials. He must be having lots of high academic achievements, must be having lots of other achievements. So all good things must be in his biodata, in his profile." So he says that means all applicants must be very, very competitive. And how do you select? That CEO, he gave very simple answer, but very interesting answer, which motivates, which inspires everybody, all of us to learn from. He said, and in those 30 minutes, how they explain themselves, that decides, that tells that what kind of personality attributes this person has, how much strength this fellow has, can he handle the situation. Suppose this is a very big company, and the big companies, they have very strong systems. So due to their strong systems, they can always run, whether the CEO is there or not. But if the company for some reason goes under some problem, then the head of the institution, head of the organization has to see how to handle those situations in a effective manner. So we see that how they can handle in the stress situations and distress situations, and then we decide that whether this person is suitable for this particular post or not. So that means a very simple lesson, that if you really want to achieve high positions in your life, don't give up. Always face challenges. Whatever challenges come across, you must face them with courage and with the strong positive mindset. Don't think that somebody can stop you. So as Martina Navratilova, she has also said that everything is in your mind. It is up to you how much you stop yourself or how much liberty you give to yourself to go ahead and to take risk. So I will suggest you all to decide about your careers with a very positive mindset and have confidence in you that you can do it. And if you have this kind of feeling in your mind that you can do it, then you will always be able to do it. Okay, now I welcome Mr. Karthikeya Sharma. He is here with us. He has joined us. Welcome, sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining us. I know that you have a busy schedule. Your profile is also like that, where there is always unpredictability about the work and the work pressure, but still make it. I'm very happy. And all children, they are eagerly waiting to hear from you. So I have taken all the time which you allowed me by joining 10 minutes late. How we will be following that first of all, we will be listening from you, and then we will give some time for the students for questions whenever you will tell us. So
okay, ma'am.
Floor is open to you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And all those who have joined, I welcome you all, and especially to the children who have joined us. From at the start, I would like to start with a disclaimer to the children that this talk session that we are having is completely out of syllabus. You will not be asked any question on this, so you can just relax and you can enjoy the talk. And if you don't find it interesting, you can practice the art of sleeping. That is completely fine with me, but just enjoy the talk. There is no pressure, you can completely enjoy. Now, coming to the topic of the exams, what do you normally associate exams with? It's normally pressure, normally tension. You think about your marks, how you are going to face your parents, and even worse, how you're going to face your neighbors. Whether we like it or abhor it, but exams are a part of our life, and we cannot get rid of it. We cannot escape it, and we have to adapt to it. It is necessary that exams need not be so much of tension. There is certain way, there is certain mindset that if you follow, you need not be so much tensed about your exams. And for this, I would like to say exams are not the end of everything. Exams are not the beginning of anything. Exams is just a stage of your life. And it will be there for these boards. After that, there will be some other exams. Even when you join your work, there will be some pressure there. So what I'm talking about, it need not be true only for the exams, but it will help you for your future. And these are just my reflections, because a few years back, I was in your shoes. Now, when you think about all those exams, the normal anecdote is that the board exams are the major determinant of your life. I would like to categorically state that exams are not a determinant of your life. Nothing in this world is a determinant of your life. Life is a continuous process, and different events add to it. There is no such thing that when you do this thing, your life is settled, or when you break this thing, your life is devastated. Understand this fact, that life is not just about boards or exams. Success for anything is not a straight line. It is not that you start from a source and end up with a destination. Success, the path is like a mountainous road. There will be diversions, there will be some twists, there will be turns, there will be obstacles, and you will have to overcome that. And that is in sum total is success. It's an ongoing process and it keeps on moving on. Now, to understand the concept of how to face exams, you need to understand how to face failures. And normally it is said that failures are a stepping stone to success. Failure in itself is not a stepping stone. There is a rich source of information that is there in failure that you need to tap. What happens is that when you fail, you need to analyze why I failed in this. What was missing? What was my weak area? Whether I made some silly mistakes, whether something was not known to me, and analyze all those things and try to find out what was missing in you, or what was your strength and what was your weakness, and identify at least one thing which you would like to change so that those mistakes are not repeated. When you have corrected that, give the exam again. Again, there will be some failures, and repeat this process. And when you do this process, ultimately you will land up at success. I will give an example. The very technology with which we are talking right now, it's a wonder that we all sitting at different places are able to talk with each other, able to see each other, and it's an amazing technology. But this technology hasn't come because of a single innovation or a single idea or a single work of. It is a cumulative process, an incremental process. It all started with the landline telephones that we used to have earlier. Some of you may still have it, but there used to be a landline phone everywhere. And people thought that when we are sending voice data over it, why not send internet data on this? And they tried, they failed, they tried again, and they could succeed. But then the speed was very low. It was not even enough to send pictures, leave alone movies. Then they again started this process of trial, of testing new ideas, overcoming their failures. Then they came up with 2G, then 3G. Now we are well aware with 4G, and now they are thinking of bringing 5G. So you can just imagine that small incremental steps can lead to so much of revolution. And the same is true about our lives. We need to constantly improvise ourselves, learn from your mistakes, learn from your failures, and improvise upon it. And that is the way it normally works. If you look at our history, let us say, for example, our freedom struggle. Our freedom struggle has not been a continuous process of success. The freedom struggle is at least 120 years old. And if you look at it, in the 1920s, we started with non-cooperation movement. When we said that we are not going to cooperate with you, we are not going to work for you. This is the first step. After 10 years in the 1930s, we said that neither we are going to work for you, nor we are going to let you work. So came the civil disobedience movement, improvisation over it. Now, after that, what happens is they came that I am not going to work and neither I am letting you work. Then what is the point of you being here? So you should quit this country. And then came in the 1940s, the Quit India movement. So you see, it's a continuous process and you need to improvise upon it. You need to understand that the failure is a rich source to discover yourself. And if you can tap on this, there cannot be any obstacles in your life. And I will repeat again, learn from your failures. Failures are the most important thing in your life. Success will not teach you anything. It is not a guarantee of repeating that success, but failure is a guarantee that you are going to succeed. Now, you may ask that what is the determinant of success? To me, the determinant of success is being honest to yourself, being true to yourself. By that, what I mean is that you know your strength, you know your weakness, you know where you have not worked, where you have worked, and analyze over it. I'm not saying that you share these ideas with others, but to yourself, you shouldn't give any excuse. You should be clear in your mind that I have done this much of thing and I should expect this much amount of marks. Now, when this honesty is there, you know that what you are capable of and how much you can improve. So be honest to yourself. Do not give excuses. Our brain is trained in such a way that we tend to blame external factors. We will say the question paper was hard, the invigilation was too tough, the teacher didn't teach us properly. There can be n number of reasons, but deep in your heart, you know that you haven't studied, and that is why there has been a problem. So be honest to yourself, be true to yourself. And the most important part is avoiding any unfair means. By unfair means, I mean that it is cheating. Now, cheating may give you an initial boost, or cheating may give an easy access, but cheating is a very dangerous process. And it is so rampant in our society that sometimes we fail to analyze how much destructive it has been. Now, what happens when you cheat in an exam? You get good marks, you feel happy, but then it is not a true indicator of what you are capable of. Deep down, you know that the marks that is reflected is not you, that you are not capable of what your report card is showing. It takes a beating on your self-image. Your self-confidence goes down, and then with this self-confidence goes down your ability to study. In the long run, it becomes very destructive. Secondly, what happens is that when you cheat, you are unaware of your failures. You do not know what mistakes have you done. How can you improvise upon it? And as I talked about, the learning from the failure, that process cannot be applied. And then it becomes a problem for improving yourself. And thirdly, it is like a psychotropic drug. It gives you a boost initially that, yes, I got a good marks. But then every time you have to keep on cheating to just match that level. And this just increases every time. And then you become unaware of your reality, unaware of the fundamentals. And then comes a point where you are completely devoid of your foundations, of your basics, and it becomes too tough to cope up with the increased syllabus. So my advice to you will be, never go for cheating. Let it be a bad marks, bad within double quotes that you think. Let it be. It should be your ability. It should reflect yourself. And believe me, this will take you a long way. Cheating should be avoided at any cost. You should own your life and you should be about yourself. Be true to yourself. Now coming to the preparation part, preparation for any exam, it has to be in a similar manner. Now, we cannot study for long durations at a stretch. Study for 1 hour or 1.5 hours maximum, and then take a strategic break. In that break, you can listen to music, talk to your parents. Those of you who can play an instrument, use that, or you can just go for a walk. And when you are sufficiently fresh in your mind, come back and study. Do not stretch in any circumstances for more than 1.5 hours. Our concentration level ebbs off beyond that, and there is no point of studying. Now, when you study, consistency is very important. It should not be that I study at this time and then tomorrow I will not study. Small, continuous steps is very important, and it will help you in building things. Thirdly is give proper time for revision. Revision is a very important aspect, and it should be a day-to-day event. When you prepare your day, give sufficient time for revision on a day-to-day basis. You may revise what has been taught in the class, or you may revise what you studied a week back or even a month back. But revision should be there every day on day-to-day basis. And when you are covered with the syllabus, go for a complete revision. The more you revise, the more it will be updated, the more it will be able to grasp the ideas. Then when you have finished studying, go for practicing the mock tests. When you give mock test, give in the conditions of the exams. Follow the timings, follow the same schedule, and give it accordingly. Give it the same sanctity that exam requires. When you are done with the exam, analyze it. What were the mistakes? Especially note the silly mistakes that you have made. And then make all the notes that what are the mistakes that you have done. If you are forgetting some ideas, if you are forgetting some dates, if you are forgetting some formulas in mathematics, or you are just doing some multiplication error, note all these down. Take corrective measures. Practice again. Practice till it becomes a habit and that you do not repeat it. Make sure that your errors are not repeated. It is very common to make errors, but it shouldn't be that the same errors be repeated. A second time, the same error is not tolerable. Make sure about that. Give exam again and again, till it becomes your habit. And you will know that when you give your final exam, it will be like your last mock exam. You should prepare a timetable and stick to it. Timetable basically gives you a structure to your study. Make a weekly timetable and keep it flexible. Keep some time off for you to enjoy, or make it flexible so that suppose one topic takes a larger amount of time than you had expected, then you can adjust it in that amount of time. Another thing that helped me a lot is mixing and matching the subjects. Studying the same subject throughout the day is quite boring. So you can start off with mathematics. Then after that, take a break, jump to geography. Then take a break, jump to say English. And in that way, it keeps your interest alive in the subject. And moreover, it helps you retain more information. Go for this way. Uh, take enough sleep, at least for 7 to 8 hours. It is very essential that you take enough sleep. Make notes in your own handwriting. Just underlining in the book is not enough. Write it down on your notebook. When you write it down, it's kind of a revision. It enhances your learning. Uh, Read from very standard books. Do not go for guidebooks. Standard books will help you, but guidebooks do not give proper information. It will mislead you. Go for standard books. And the most important thing is, do not go for rote memorization. Understand the concept, and then you will be able to use it in multiple places. Always go for understanding the concepts. I will give you an example. We all learn that light travels in a straight line. Isn't it true? Light always travels in a straight line. But then you bring a prism, and suddenly the light is bending. Not only the white light is bending, different colors are bending in a different manner. So what happens to your original idea that light travels in a straight line? So you need to understand under what conditions light travel in a straight line, why does light travel in a straight line, and then only you will be able to answer it. Everyone knows that stars twinkle at night. And there is a very famous nursery rhyme also, Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. But then, have you wondered why stars twinkle at night? It is not that they are switching on and off. It is not that they are pulsating at the same time. If you don't know why stars twinkle, then just go and find out. It's a very good knowledge and very basic one that everyone should be aware of. Now, coming to this, when you prepare for an exam, there are a lot of problems, a lot of stress that you go through. There is a plethora of emotions that you undergo. Someday you can be very energetic, very motivated to do stuff, but then the next day you may feeling dreadful, or you feel that it is just too much, or you are coming under stress and that you are not able to cope up. Believe me, these are very normal, very natural, and happens to everybody. You are not the only one, and there is no shame in accepting it. It happens with everyone. When these things happen, accept this fact that these things happen. I mean, it's a very day-to-day affair that when you have prepared for exams and suddenly you feel that you are not able to recall the answer and you go into an anxiety stress. But then believe that when you are taking an exam and the question paper comes, the answer will come to you. So one of the strategies that has worked for me to avoid all this stress is that the evening before that there is an exam, I stop studying. So suppose tomorrow there is an exam, from 6 p.m. today, I will stop studying. I will watch movies, I will play games, anything but exam, anything but studying. Do it and it will calm you like anything. Initially, it may feel very scary, but these things really help a lot. Try to do this. You are well rested, you will be able to recall it, and the next day tomorrow when there is exam, you will not be in anxiety, you will not be in panic mood, you will perform much better. Try for some time and it will become a habit for you. And now there are certain things that you can do to fight stress on a day-to-day basis. The one thing is always sleep for at least 7 hours. 7 to 8 hours sleep is highly recommended and it is highly beneficial. Do a certain amount of yoga, Kapalabhati, Anulom Vilom, these things really help a lot. Eat proper food, balanced diet, have a proper amount of water. These things will help you. Listen to music from time to time. These will calm you down. Exercise regularly. And by that, I mean go out in the nature, go take a walk or just go for cycling, but go out under the sun and just spend some time there. And you can do another thing, that suppose there's a certain topic and you have aced it. You can give yourself a treat. Say, for example, you have covered the chapter of, say, chemistry. Then you can treat yourself with a chocolate or an ice cream. These act as a positive reinforcement for you. And these will take you to a lot of different places. And moreover, it creates a positive feeling about yourself. Now, when you have done all these things, I would like to focus on certain myths that surround us. There are myths about exams. There are myths about how to prepare for it. There are 4 or 5 myths I would like to counter. The first one among them is that boards are the most important exams. I have told earlier also, boards are not the most important exam. I mean, if it would have been, then there have been many celebrities. Let's say J.K. Rowling, R.K. Narayan, even Einstein. They haven't done good in their exams, but then they are a great success. So boards are not everything. Boards are just another exam. Don't give over importance to it. Don't give under importance to it. Boards are just like any other exam. If you do good, well, it's a feather in your cap. If you don't do good in this, no worry. Just learn from it and move ahead. There is no point of pondering over it, spending time over it, or ruining over it. The exam is done, then just move ahead. There are other things in their life. The second myth that I want to counter is that you learn through rote memorization. No, rote memorization is not the right way. Moreover, our brain is not designed for memorizing facts. Our brain is designed to analyze things, predict patterns, look for future, and do some analysis on the data. For memorization, we have artificial means. We have hard drive, pen drive, and the computers for doing this. So go for analysis, go for understanding the concept. And this will really ease up your work. I will give you an example. Let us say you're studying geography about rocks. Now there are igneous rocks, sedimentary rocks, metamorphic rocks. Now if you just go for memorization, you will just learn that igneous rocks are this and this, and these are its properties. And you remember just some examples, and that's it. You'll have to remember the whole thing. But let us say you analyze it and you understand the concept that igneous rocks are made by solidification of molten lava or magma, basically molten rocks. Now, rocks are in a molten state at a very high temperature. So when it's being made by solidification of molten rocks, there cannot be a question of sediment, of fossils. You will not find fossils in igneous rocks. Doesn't it become obvious? Moreover, it is made of rocks. So what should be the primary element? Should be silicate minerals. Cooling is there, so there will not be a layering. So when you understand all these concepts, it becomes easier for you to recall, to understand, and to perform an exam. The third myth that I want to counter is that math is tough and there is no skipping it. No, maths is a very important subject, and when you understand the concept and you are good at it, it takes you very far. Maths is basically pure logic, pure reasoning. It is devoid of emotions and it is very straightforward. You need to dedicate time, you need to solve problems, and you need to be consistent with it. When you are good with foundations, then the maths becomes quite easy and it's your friend. And do not take it maths as in a negative way that it has to be done. Maths is a language of nature. And when you understand it, it becomes your friend. The fourth and the very common thing that the myth is there, that subjects other than science, maths and English are not important. I strongly counter that. Every subject has its own importance, be it history, be it humanities, be it Sanskrit, be it EVS, any subject. These all things have been designed in such a way to give you a wholesome idea about life. Subjects like history, civics, and geography tell us about how people interact with themselves, how societies work, how people come together, what are their problems, and how do they solve it. These are the real worlds. That's why they are called humanities. They take you away from the mechanical life. You need to understand about science, you need to understand English, but you need to understand history and civics as well. So give proper respect to every subject and give it its due. Now, to summarize everything, that when you understand the concept of failure and you know that life is not a straightforward race, and you learn from your mistakes, you go for a basic improvement at step-by-step manner. When you are able to being true to yourself, that you do not give excuses and you own your life, and you are able to manage your emotions, live a stress-free life, and prepare consistently and work over a time, the success is bound to follow. I remember reading in Harry Potter, and when Harry Potter was addressing a group of Dumbledore army, he said that working hard is not the only thing, but what is more important is believing in yourself. So believe in yourself, have confidence that you can do it. There, you understand the method, you understand the work, and I'm pretty sure that you will be able to do magic. So make it a part of your life. Do not fear exams. Make it your everyday affair. Everyday improvement should be your mantra. That is all that I had to say, and I am here available. And if you have any questions, I will be very happy to try to answer that. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Kartikeya. Now I think we would let the children ask questions. They have lots of curiosity. They want to know about you. How was your journey? How you have reached here? And so many other things are there in their mind. So now I invite Mr. Rajiv Medirata to moderate the session.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
We are glad to see you, and I suppose that after hearing you, many of the questions which were unanswered and were very complex, now I suppose they have become very simple for teachers as well as the students. I would like to say a few words only, that just like when the drops of rains fell down on the earth, they give the birth to new seeds, new plants, and new leaves. And in the same way, your connecting with us has made our many unanswered questions solved. You have given the key to many answers: how to plan for the studies, how to make the schedule for the exams, don't get panic, and more about the yoga also, and avoid, should not go for the cheating and unfair means. I suppose that you have given the complete encyclopedia on preparation as well as the examination, sir. But still, our students have so much curiosity and anxiety to hear you. That is why we are on this platform, and thank you very much for connecting with us and giving us your precious time. Now, I would like to start my session with some of the students who have a lot of anxiety with their questions. Tanisha from Saraswati Bal Mandir, Rajouri Garden. Yes, beta. Ask your question. Tanisha, Saraswati Bal Mandir, Rajouri Garden. If you have a question, you can ask, beta. Next.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, ask your question, beta.
Wish you a safe and a happy life, sir. Sir, we are deprived of in-depth knowledge and consistent motivation that is needed to crack exams. So kindly guide us. How can we get it?
See, it's not possible that every day you will be motivated. Our brain is very complex and we go through a lot of emotions. What is important is that you understand the concept that success is not a one chance event. Success comes with day-to-day work. When you are consistent with your work, that success is bound to follow. But then, as I have told you, do yoga, have proper diet, talk with your parents, and most importantly, at least a half an hour, go outside in the sun. Take a walk, listen to music. These will really calm you down. And when you are consistent with your work, you will be under less pressure. And you will be much more calm and success will be there.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. Next question is from class 12 students, 12C student, Pami of SD Public School, Pitampura branch. Beta, you can ask your question very frankly with the sir. Pami of class 12C. Yes, children, come up, hurry up, beta. Next, Jyoti of class 11th A1, medical student. You have a query, beta, you can ask Jyoti of class 11th A1.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question is, sir, I'm Jayati of class 11th A1 from SD Public School, and I would like to pose a question. Sir, in your life, what do you most rely upon, hard work or smart work?
See, both of them are important, and hard work is also required, but hard work alone will not take you place. What is most important thing is that you can rely upon is consistency take you to the places. If you do hard work, but only for a day, it is not sufficient. Hard work matched with smart work, but over a continuous period of time, that will take you to the places. The consistency is very important. You should be very dedicated for it and continue it for it. The diligence that is required, that is needed for success. So the most reliable thing is diligence.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. You have rightly said that the hard work and smart work are both complementary to each other. They are not substitute that either we should do the hard work or the smart work. Thank you. Next question is from class 12th A1, Anushka Bansal. Anushka Bansal, child, you can ask your question or query with us, sir. Anushka Bansal.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
My question is that which stream is better, arts or non-medical, for the one who wish to pursue UPSC or SSC CGL?
When you are convinced that you have to do UPSC, then UPSC has avenues for all the subjects. You can follow whatever you want, and after graduation, you can go for UPSC. Now, you should follow the subject which is closest to your heart. If you think that the humanities subjects are closer to you, that you feel connected to it, go for it. If you think some other subject is good for you, go for that. The most important thing is you should be connected to it. And that is the only way it will take you places. UPSC has avenues for every subject. Person from even from non-medical, non-engineering background do come to humanities and do come for UPSC, and it is open for everyone. So don't plan according to UPSC, plan what you like, what is closer to your heart.
Thank you, sir. I have read somewhere that in Bhagavad Gita, Bhagwan, Lord Krishna said that real education is the purity of heart, mind, and soul. And connectivity is very important, as you told the students that connect with the subject and see your interest and go deeply into that subject and be thorough with it. Thank you, sir. Next question is with class 12th A2 student Priyanshu Gupta. Priyanshu Gupta.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, I just wanted to ask that in this current pandemic situation, what future do you see of the competitive exams due to be held in 2021? Postponement or syllabus changes?
See, everyone is unaware of what course this COVID epidemic will take, and most of them are really not aware how to tackle with this. But at your level, I will say that exams are going to be there. In one form or the other, exams will be there, competitive exams will be there. Now, I don't think so that they are going to postpone it, because postponing it will create other problems. There are some talks of limiting the syllabus, of modifying it. My suggestion will be, since you have ample amount of time, go for thorough syllabus. And at your level, you should study so that not from the point of view of exams, but from building your foundation. Study the syllabus that has been prescribed and let them decide what happens. And whatever be it, if they go for a shorter syllabus, well and good for you. If they go for the whole syllabus, you are anyway prepared for it. So study the whole syllabus.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. And now next student is from SS Mota Singh School, Diksha Medirata, class 11th. Diksha, will you ask your question, beta?
Good evening, sir. I am Diksha from SS Mota Singh School. Respected sir, I have a query. How an athlete or a slow learner can survive or earn his livelihood in the era of merit-based competitive exam? And secondly, there is always a gap between rote memory or open-minded creation of the youth. So, how this gap can be minimized?
First of all, you need to understand there is nothing called slow learner. There is nothing called fast learner. There is nothing called slow learner. And if you go by this tag, just remember that Einstein was called a slow learner. In fact, for about up to the age of 4 or 5, he was not able to speak also. So don't go by this concept of slow or fast. Everyone learns at his own pace, and that is completely fine. And going about the topic, talking about memorization, don't go for it. Our brain is not designed for memorization. Go for picking up an analysis of source, why these things happen, and analyze over it, think about it, but don't go for rote memorization. Whenever you get a concept, understand it, ask questions about it, why, when, where, how, ask all these questions. If you don't get it in your books, there's always a Google. Try to find out over it. Be thorough with the concept. The concept is important. The memorization is not important. And when you are thorough with the concept, you will find two benefits. One, that it is easy for you to remember it and apply it. And secondly, you will find that a lot of things in different subjects are interrelated. A topic in geography may become important in science. So they are very much interrelated. And understanding the concept is the real learning. So remember always that the concepts are important, the data is not important.
Thank you, sir. You have told the children that rote memory not only junk our mind, but it also kills the creativity of the students. Nowadays, we have seen that students are very open-minded and very creative. And they innovate the things also themselves. I have also seen that they are so good in the technology, even if we sometimes get junked in it, but they get out of it. Thank you, sir, for your answer. And next question is from Rishabh Tiwari of class 11th A2. Rishabh Tiwari, 11th A2.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Sir, I want to ask that how to forget everything other than your aim.
Very tough question, and doing it is really tough. But then you need to understand that how much dedicated are you for your aim. When you are completely dedicated, it will come naturally to you. Don't really try for it. It will become natural to you. When you are very passionate about it, that you have to do it, it will come naturally to it. When I was preparing for my exams, initially it was like there were a lot of doubts whether I will be able to do it. The syllabus is too much. I don't know anything. I am just starting. There are people who have done it for a long time. How will I be able to do it? But then as you prepare and as you work over it, you get confidence. The aim becomes more visible to you. And this becomes a feedback loop. The more you study, the more it becomes visible to you. You feel that you are getting successful. And then there comes a time that you forget everything and you just work for your aim. And believe me, these things will come when you really work for it. It will not come in the beginning. In the beginning, there will be lots of doubt, lots of clutter, lots of confusion. But as you prepare consistently, this clutter will be removed. You will get a clarity of mind and you will reach that state where it is just the destination that is visible to you. Till then, enjoy the process.
You really well said that life is not always a straight line, we cannot always have flowers in our life. We have to counter each and everything in our life. Next question is from Lakshay Agarwal, class 12th. Lakshay Agarwal, Himalaya Public School, class 12th. Lakshay of class 12th, Himalaya Public School. Lakshay of class 12th, Himalaya Public School. Okay, we come to the next one. Class 11th, A2, Alakshindra Vasisht. Alakshindra Vasisht.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, my question to you is how many hours should one study to crack a competitive exam?
See, if you are not going to school and you have the whole day to you, anything more than 5 to 6 hours is just too much. Aim for 5 to 6 hours, broken into chunks of 1 hour. After 1 hour, take a break, relax for some time, then study again. But do not aim for studying more than 5 to 6 hours. And when you have schools, normal schools going on, try to study for 3 or 4 hours and try to cover what has been taught in the class. Consistently studying for more than 6 hours is strenuous and it's counterproductive. So don't fall in the trap. 5 to 6 hours is the maximum that you should aim for.
Thank you, sir. Next question is from Aryan Sharma of class 12th B1. Aryan Sharma, commerce student of class 12th B1. Child, ask your question. Mr. Aryan.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My question to you is that while preparing for such competitive exams, which was the most appropriate strategy that you planned for yourself?
See, there are 3-4 things for any exams that you should do. The number one thing that I have taught you is learning from your failure. Whenever you give an exam, learn from it what went wrong. This is the most important thing, and this is true for your life also. Understand what was missing, what was your weakness, and what mistakes you made, especially the silly ones. Make a note of it and work hard on this so that this is not repeated. And then when you are equipped with it, then give the exam again. Doing it repeatedly with your mock exams is the sure shot way to success. Do it and you will realize the benefits. Learn from your failures.
I'm very much sure that Aryan Sharma, your query is sorted out. The search statement is exactly, I heard a few days back, Sachin Tendulkar, who said that in the first over, when I was playing the first match against Pakistan, I was not able to see the ball. And thereafter, I started making short targets. Say I have to make only 5 or 6 runs in 1 over. We cannot make a century in 1 or 2 overs. So strategy is also like a war, but we have to plan very seriously for it. Thank you, sir. Our next question is from Yashika Jindal, class 11th A2. Class 11th A2, Yashika Jindal. Children, beta, ask your query. Yashika Jindal, class 11th A2. Okay, I come to the next one. Dev Garg, commerce student of class 12th B1. You have a very anxious query from the beginning of the day. Today you were asking from me that when the sir is going to join us. Dev Garg.
Sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my question is, how can we get the examinations that take many years to succeed, like IAS examinations, UPSC examinations, etc.?
See, first you need to understand that no exam is such that it is too tough or it's too difficult. The competitive exams are by nature, it's such that it tests your diligence, at how much hard work you are going to put in it. So understand that there's a difference between board exams and competitive exams. The competitive exams, it's a test of how much hard work you can give it to it. So there is nothing like that you cannot crack this exam or it is easy to crack this exam. It is not like that. Any exam is difficult and you have to prepare for it. Now, as I told that preparation takes time. It has to be a continuous work. You have to learn from your mistakes, improvise upon it, give some practice papers, learn, and then give the exam again till you succeed. It is true about UPSC also, and it is true about anything in life. Improvise upon your things. Do not think that one simple step will take you to the destination. Keep on improvising, keep on learning, keep on failing, and keep on succeeding.
I am very much hopeful, Devgat, your query has been sorted out, that how can we clear the exams, which sometimes take many attempts. But sir's answer is that never you should give up and you should always learn from your failures. In every attempt, you will be getting better and better. And always stress management and time management is essential. Do not feel that every exam is a difficult exam or every exam is an easy exam. Examination is like an exam only. It is a basic testing of how much hard work we pay for it. Next question is from Anushka Agarwal of class 11C. Yes, Anushka Agarwal.
First of all, good evening.
Anushka Agarwal.
Good evening, Anushka.
So my question is, as for me and as for everybody, civil services are the most fascinating services. And it is my goal to be in civil services and crack UPSC. So I would request, can you please guide me? How can I indulge myself in civil services?
See, civil services basically deal with people. It is not about that you are doing some research, or it is not something that you have to go for working in a laboratory. It is working with the people. So your people skills should be very high, and you should be aware of the surroundings. What is happening here? Let us say, for example, in present scenario about this COVID. What is the origin of COVID? How much devastating it has been for economy? How we can recover from it? And similar things. Read things, read newspaper, make yourself aware of what is happening here. Don't restrict yourself to the books or syllabus prescribed. Read some good books. Fiction is very fine. Read non-fiction, read analysis, read newspapers, especially the editorials. And just don't read for the purpose of cracking UPSC. Read for enhancing yourself. And soon you will realize that when people are talking, you have a lot of ideas, or you know a basic of all those things. You become a generalist, and then that is the point where you can aim for doing UPSC. Make your learning very broad-based and try to learn whatever comes to your way. Read good newspapers, and that will help you a lot.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I have seen that you are always focusing on the analysis part. That analysis is very important in day-to-day life also, whether it is concerned with the books or whether it is concerned with the geography or any subject. As you started in the mathematics also, that it is a logical subject, and one should not feel that this subject is good or this subject is bad. Every subject has its own relevance and it will help you in the future a lot. Next question is from Chirag Sharma of class 12th A2 science stream. Chirag Sharma, 12th A2 section.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Chirag.
Sir, my question is, there are so many students who don't have any type of coaching for cracking the exam. Sir, what are the extra initiatives the students should take to crack the exams?
I have never gone for any coaching, and my recommendation is do not go for coaching class. When you're preparing for exams, go for the basics and fundamentals, which is available in standard books. Go for good books, not the guide books. Go for some very good books, and whatever concepts you will learn there, practice it on problems and learn from it, that what was the mistake, what was not coming to you, and do it consistently, and then you will reach. Do not go do not fall for the trap that coaching is required for competitive exams. Coaching is not required. Believe me, I have many of my friends in the service, they haven't gone through coaching, and coaching is not any way helps anyone. When you go for coaching, you waste a lot of time, which you could have productively utilized in solving problems. So believe in yourself that you can do it, and study good books, practice problems, and you will sail through.
Sir, in our time, there was not any internet source. And now we hope that these children are in the boon that they have got so many resources, N+1 resources. Secondly, sir, in our time also coaching was not available. And we used to go to the library and read the books only. And different books, different Indian author books or even foreign author books we study and compare that what is all around, that what is written in this book and what is written in that book. And we used to compare and explore the concepts ourselves. So it is always said that the self-study is the best study, self-concepts are the always clear concepts, and self-discipline is always the best discipline. And you have cleared a big myth that is running in the students nowadays, that go for the coaching or go for the tuitions. Now, in fact, it is clear that tuition is not any substitution for the studies. Thank you so much, sir.
You have very well said. You have very well said about the technology, that internet is a great source of learning. There is so much material in it that if you have any doubt, you can go through some analysis of some of the best minds on any topic, and it will just clear your mind. There is no need to go for coaching. Just make Google your friend, and it will help you.
Thank you, sir. But the use of the technology and remote is in our hands, that which switch we have to on and which switch we have to off. This should be made clear to all the students. Well said, sir. Next student is our from class 12th B1 commerce student, Sakshi Rajvansh. Sakshi Rajvansh, beta, ask your question.
Good evening, sir. My question is, how should I cooperate between the preparation of my board exams with that of my competitive exams?
Which competitive exams are you giving? Sakshi, are you there?
Sir, I'm planning to give the exam, appear for a DU JAT exam.
Okay. See, there are a lot of things which will be common in the syllabus of the exam and the syllabus of the boards. The boards are the basics for everything. Study the boards, and if you can spare some time, study for the exams. But preparing for exams should not come before the preparation for boards. Boards is a major milestone in your life. Prepare for it. And in the remaining time, if you get something, prepare for the exams. Preparing for boards will help you in your exams, but it should not be the other way around. Preparing for exams will not help you in boards. So give boards its due respect and then move on.
Sir, I would like to tell you that when I talked to Sakshi in the morning at 10:30, she was not in Delhi. She was in fact in Haridwar with his parents. She told me that I want to join the session anyhow, that I have to clear my query. And she studied about you in the Google, and she was more anxious that I would like to ask the questions that which one is important, board exams or competitive exams. I hope that now this concept is clear to you, Sakshi. The next question is from Radhika, class 11th A1 medical student. Radhika, beta, ask your question.
Good evening, sir. I am Radhika Bhatia from class 11th A1 and I am studying in SD Public School, Pritampura. Sir, my question is that how can students develop the positive mindset for studies?
See, studies is not something which is made just for taking exams. Exams are just a milestone, but the purpose of study is not exam. The purpose of study is to develop yourself, to become aware of what is happening in this world. So don't go by the perspective of only exam, but learn for the sake of learning. And do not enforce that you are not in a mood for learning, but then you have to study. It should not be like that. When you when you are not stressed or when you do not have the aim solely for exams, the learning will come to you naturally. It is very natural for humans to learn things, to predict patterns, to get all those things. Even where there is no patterns, we tend to predict patterns. So it's a very normal phenomena for us. Learning comes naturally to us. Just do not force it upon yourself. If you don't like, don't study for some time, and you will come back to that subject. So don't force yourself on this, and you will develop this.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, Resh.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yeah, Resh.
Sir, my question is that how can we cover main topics and difficult topics in such a short time of period?
See, when the topic, the syllabus is given, do not try to cover all the hard ones at the same time. At the starting of the day, try to pick out one hard topic, read about it. And after some time, when you feel that you have had enough, take a break and then take some easy topics. And then the next day, start again and start again. Do not take 2 or 3 hard topics in the same day. Take one hard topic and then the easier ones for the rest of the day. And in that way, you will be able to do it. The topic is hard because you haven't given sufficient time to it. There is no hard topic. With sufficient practice, it will become easy to you. And if you think that you are not able to get the concept, ask your teachers. And even if then you are not convinced, there are a lot of materials on the internet available that will show you. There are documentaries that will help you understand what are the concepts behind it. Learn from it and then move on. Do not try to have 2 or 3 hard things on the same day. Start with the most hard one on the first day and then take the day off.
Thank you, sir.
Next, the next question is to Urvashi Prajapati.
Yeah, Urvashi.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
So my question is that how did you manage to get motivated all the time and stop all distractions?
See, motivation is not that it will come to you every day. But as I said that when you want some goal in your life, everything works in that way. That when I decided to join, go for UPSC, it was like I was always thinking about UPSC, how to do it, from where I can get all the resources. And then as you prepare, you develop liking for it. And it becomes a cycle that you like the subject, you study more. The more you study, the more clear the aim becomes to you. And in that way, it becomes your life for that matter. So try to find a passion and try to study for it. And slowly it will become your life.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Kartikeya ji. I also have one question for you. You know, I was just going through the data and I saw that 55% of the students who graduate from IIT and IIMs, they appear for IPS or civil services examination. So I just want to ask you, first thing, when you graduated from IIT and IIM, don't the corporate services, they attract you because they have hefty pay packages and very, very comfortable working zones. Despite of that, you came to the civil services examination, you appeared in this and you are working for the people. And this is again a 24/7 job. I think the job which you have taken might not be letting you sleep comfortably. So I want to know that how you have decided that instead of going corporate to this, and why many of the IITs are doing this.
Ma'am, UPSC has many advantages. When you work for civil services, let's say IAS or IPS, you touch a lot of lives. You can really make a lot of improvement in their lives. Suppose when I'm working here, then the security of the whole district or of the whole state is my responsibility. Such amount of responsibility will never be given to you in corporate world. And when you solve problems, when you help people, the kind of respect and the kind of satisfaction that you get is unparalleled. So I think these two reasons, the kind of responsibility and the kind of number of hearts that you can touch and the satisfaction that you get is unparalleled in any other service.
Great. I will not ask anything because I could see two hands are raised here. One is Lakshya Agrawal. So Lakshya, you can ask your question. Lakshya, unmute yourself and ask your question.
Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi, Lakshya.
Hello. What is the scope, sir? What is the scope in the computer and IT?
Computer IT is full of opportunities. India is one of the places which has bloomed like anything in IT. And if you get a chance to go outside, the first thing that they remember, foreigners remember when you say about India is IT. So IT has a huge scope. And if you're planning to go for it, it's a very safe option and a very fulfilling one. So if you're thinking, go for IT.
Sir, what is the degree of
degree is not important. See, for IT, it depends on which stream you are going for, whether you are going for software development, for networking. There are a lot of streams in it. You can go for engineering, then there is, you can go for graduation in IT, then there are several degrees and there are several avenues available. So first try to study about your basics and then try to narrow down to which sector of IT you want to graduate in. You can go for engineering, you can go for normal degree courses, you can go for networking. There's a lot of things that which will come to you when you dig deeper in this.
There is another child, Ashu Bhutani. Ashu Bhutani also raised his hand. Ashu, please ask a question.
Yes. Jai Hind, sir.
Jai Hind, Ashu.
Sir, my question is related to civil services examination. Sir, I want to know what UPSC actually looking for. Please, sir, guide me. That will help me to crack this exam in my very first attempt. Please, sir.
Yeah. See, UPSC exam is an exam of dedication. It tests your ability that how much persevere you can do it. How much persevere can you do in an exam? How much you are ready to put efforts in it. It's an exam of not of intellect, it's not an exam of ability, but how much dedicated you are and how much diligent you are. So it's an exam in which you have to put in a lot of effort and you have to be prepared for it. What UPSC is looking for, it's looking for a person who is well aware of things, of his surroundings, what is happening in the world. He is not just someone who is focused on a very narrow field, but knows about history also, knows about geography also, knows about science also, and knows about everything in this world and can interconnect. And secondly, most important that UPSC is looking for is a person of developed intellect, that he has integrity and he has people skills, that he can bring some changes in the life of the people. So these are the things required for the UPSC.
Kartikeya ji, many children, they are raising their hand to ask the questions. If you will say, and if the time permits, only then I will be giving them chance, or otherwise we can take the question next time.
I can take 2 questions only. I have to go.
Okay, but before you take 2 questions, I have surprise for all of them and for you too. Let me share with you all that father of Shri Kartikeya ji, Mr. Shri Jitendra Kumar Sharma has also joined us, and you know it is always the parents' guidance which inspires most. So we would like to hear from him that how he has inspired Kartikeya ji to crack all the examinations. And it is not only about cracking the examination, it is basically about the commitment, the kind of commitment which he has shown in his profession and in his education, how he inspired him. Jitendra sir, namaskar. Namaskar, sir. We want to hear from
Namaskar,
you.
Namaskar. Good. Can you understand? Can you? Namaskar. Yeah. Can you all understand Hindi?
आपसे कुछ सुनना चाहते हैं कि आपने कैसे इंस्पायर किया कार्तिकेय जी को। हमारे साथ बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स भी जुड़े हुए हैं, उनको
तो पहले तो इन्होंने क्रैक किया, जब इन्होंने कार्तिकेय ने IIT क्रैक किया, देन ही ज्वाइंड IIM। उसके बाद इन्हें बहुत अच्छी ऑफर मिली स्विस बैंक से और उसका पैकेज था इन करोड़्स। बट ही वॉज ऑलवेज टेलिंग मी कि डैडी हम इस देश के लिए क्या किए, आई वॉन्ट टू सर्व इन आवर कंट्री। तो उसके बाद आई डिसाइडेड एंड आई एडवाइज्ड हिम कि इस देश में तुम अगर कॉर्पोरेट में ज्वाइन करोगे तो यू कैन नॉट सर्व, यू बेटर यू ज्वाइन सिविल सर्विस। एंड देन ही क्रैक्ड सिविल सर्विस इन फर्स्ट टाइम।
मुझे ये पता चला कि उनका रैंक बहुत अच्छा था और वो IAS के लिए भी जा सकते थे, लेकिन आपकी इंस्पिरेशन थी IPS बनने की।
जी हाँ, जी हाँ। मुझे पुलिस सर्विस ज्यादा अच्छी लगी और इसमें ये ज्यादा मुझे लगा कि एक क्राइम को कंट्रोल कर सकते हैं। हाँ, ये मेरी इच्छा थी, इसलिए इनको मैंने कहा। एंड ही वाज ऑलवेज ट्राइंग कि मैं इसी देश में काम करूं और इसी देश को सर्व करूं। हालांकि कार्तिकेय को अभी नहीं मालूम था पहले कि मैं भी इसमें ज्वाइन कर चुका हूं।
लेकिन आपको MBBS डॉक्टर है, मुझे पता लगा।
जी,
आप तो मेडिकल प्रोफेशन में है, आप भी IPS ज्वाइन कर चुके थे। अच्छा, यहाँ पर आप ज्वाइन कर, सॉरी, इस वेबिनार में आप हैं, ये इनको नहीं पता था।
हाँ, इनको नहीं पता था। आई एम इन रांची। उन्हें नहीं पता था।
जी जी,
अभी जस्ट उन्हें पता चला होगा।
थैंक यू सो मच सर, आपसे बात करके बहुत अच्छा लगा। और अब एक क्वेश्चन इशिता बोबल इंतजार कर रही है, उनसे ले ले।
थैंक यू मैम।
थैंक यू सो मच।
A very good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Sir, we all know though bright students are seeing this lockdown as a golden opportunity for self-grooming and self-growth by the means of online studies. What are the means by which students can clear their doubts, which is only possible through personal and face-to-face learning and teaching process? Kindly tell me. Thank you, sir.
Very pertinent question, Nishta. And what I mean to say is that there are a lot of things that is available online. You can go through it. It will help you understand the problem. But then there are certain topics which you have to interact and then only you understand. And for this, there are teachers there. You can contact them. They are always eager to help you. And even if you require a face-to-face interaction, wait for a few days. When everything gets normal, you go to school, you can clear your doubts. But till then, keep learning, keep studying, and keep growing yourself.
Last question we are taking from Athar Verma. Athar, ask your question.
Very good evening, sir. My name is Athar Verma and I am from Richmond Global School. Sir, I would like to ask you that what message would you like to give to those children who find it problematic to choose a career in their life?
See, most of the people, majority of the people are not aware of what they want to pursue. It's a very normal thing and it's a very common thing that nothing comes to your mind that what is their passion. You should understand it is very normal. Just try to follow whatever subject that you like. Study for it, and at the proper juncture when you have to decide between the options and which one is closer to your heart. Ask your parents for guidance and take their advice. But you need not follow them, but take their advice and include it in your decision process. And take the subject which is closest to your heart, and it will take you places.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you so much for answering very patiently to the students' queries, questions, and they really wanted to meet you. They were very keen to meet you, and they wanted to hear from you that how you cracked all I's. But There is no eye of ego here. How you have
Thank you so much.
that? You seems to be a very sober and humble person, and your profile is entirely different. It is in contrast with your personality. So how you are able to maintain that? I really wish to know that.
Ma'am, the service that we are doing is basically meeting with people and solving their problems. There's an image of police that it has to be a very hard, but I think the policing should be very soft to normal people and very hard to the criminals. To the people, the image should be of very forthcoming, very caring person, and who is ready to listen to them. And that is what I try to practice.
Thank you so much for joining us. And for all students, I will just summarize the Kartikeyaji's teachings today for you. And I'm summarizing this with a Sanskrit shlok. And this shlok says, Kak cheshta bako dhyanam, Swana nidra tathaivacha, alpahari graha tyagi vidyarthi panch lakshanam. इसका अर्थ ये है कि अगर विद्यार्थी में ये 5 लक्षण है कि वो काक की तरह यानी कि कौवे की तरह जानने की चेष्टा करता है और बगुला की तरह मेडिटेशन करता है, ध्यान, फोकस, कंसंट्रेट करता है, श्वान यानी डॉग की तरह उसकी नींद है कि वो किसी भी खतरे की आहट से जग जाता है, हमेशा इसका मतलब है कि अवेयर रहता है। अगर वो अल्पाहारी यानी ध्यान उसका हर समय खाने में और सिर्फ लेजर और प्लेजर में नहीं है और उसे दीन दुनिया से कोई मतलब नहीं है, सिर्फ वो फोकस्ड है अपने काम पर, तो ऐसा नहीं हो सकता कि उसको लाइफ में उसका गोल वो अचीव ना कर पाए। ये जिस विद्यार्थी में ये 5 लक्षण होते हैं वो हमेशा उस कामयाबी को प्राप्त करता है जो वो हासिल करना चाहता है। तो ये आज आपने कार्तिकेय जी से मिलके देखा होगा, सीखा होगा और मुझे लगता है आप सब लोग इसको अपनी लाइफ का स्टाइल बना लेंगे और इन्हीं लाइंस के ऊपर काम करेंगे। एंड वन डे आई वुड लाइक ऑल ऑफ यू like this on this platform to interact with the future students. Thank you very much for all of you being here. Thank you Kartikeya ji, thank you Amit ji for facilitating this, and thank you very much Jitendra ji for giving such a committed person to this country who thinks about the nation and who works for the nation. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you ma'am. Namaskar, Jai Hind.
Jai Hind.